It's an open heaven you're releasing, and we will never be denied. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna dance in the river. Dance in the river. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna jump in the river. Jump in the river. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. I've got a river of living water, a fountain that never will run dry. It's an open heaven you're releasing, and we will never be denied. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna dance in the river. Dance in the river. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna jump in the river. Jump in the everybody sing it out. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. We're falling into deeper waters, calling after you. We're walking into deeper waters, going after you. Everybody clap your hands. If he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna jump, 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 jump in the river. Jump, 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 jump. Everybody, if he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna dance, 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 dance in the river. Dance, 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 dance. Everybody, if he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna shout, 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 shout in the river. Shout, 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 shout. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus.
So, show your daughter how much you love her.
Even when my heart is hurting, even when I feel alone, I know you are here.
always bring me through. I'll hold on to you. It doesn't matter where I go, you never leave me on my own. I'll hold on to you. It's your love, it's your love. It makes me strong, it makes me brave. It's your love, it's your love. When I'm lost and afraid, your love will always find a way. It's your love, it's your love. I know that. It's your love, it's your love. I know you will never fail me. I know you won't let me down. I know you will always lead me forever, forever. I know you will never fail me. I know you won't let me down, I know you will always lead me forever, forever. It's your love, it's your love. It makes me strong, it makes me brave. It's your love, it's your love. When I'm lost and afraid, your love will always find a way. It's your love, it's your love. I know that. It's your love, it's your love. I know that. It's your love, it's your love.
Tyler, can you help me with this? Thank you. All right, that was so good. Give our worship team a hand. All right, so remember, we have been talking about agents of faith. And who likes to play a game? All right, we're going to play a game where you kind of have to have a lot of faith in your partner. Okay? So I need 2 teams of 2. And what I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to have Miss Barb. Will you pick 2 teams of 2 for me? So 4 kids. Vaughn. Nayeli, come on up. Roman, come on up. Roxana, come on up. All right, so what we're going to do is one of you is going to be blindfolded, and the other is going to be the leader. Okay, so go ahead and let's see, we're going to do Vaughn and Nayeli, Roman and Roxana, decide who's going to be blindfolded. Do you want to have a blindfold on, Nayeli, or do you not want to have a blindfold? No? Okay, so Vaughn, are you okay with the blindfold on? Okay. Last chapel, they had to trust in their partner to tell them where to go, but their partner couldn't touch them. This time, their partner cannot say anything. They can't speak to each other at all. But they have to have faith that their partner's going to get them through where they need to go. So I'm going to help them down these stairs, and it's going to be a race. They can have one hand on their partner, and their partner has to guide them through the sanctuary. Can we turn my mic down just a little bit? It's really high. Thank you. Oh, I was asking for it to be turned down just a little bit. My mic, I'm blue. Thank you. They're going to have to guide them through the sanctuary, and then on, let's see, I want you to go through the middle, the big gap section. So I'm going to show you. You're going to guide your partner through here. Nayeli, your area, you're going to go this way, and then you're going to weave through the pews with your partner. You have to weave through, but you don't want him to hit the pew. You got to take care of your partner, right? You're going to weave all the way through the last couple pews. You'll go through this one. Sorry, Miss Perez. And then you're going to bring them down the aisle and to Miss Gherkin in the middle. All right, does that make sense? Okay, and then Roman, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to do the opposite side. Okay? Let's see, I'm going to assign somebody to help make sure they stay on course. You can't really speak to either of them. You can speak to Nayeli or Roman to tell them where to go, right? If they start to veer off course, but don't tell them anything other than that. Say, oh, right here. Okay, let's see. I want older kids for this. Opie and Tennessee. Opie, you're gonna help make sure that Roman stays on course. Tennessee, help make sure Nayeli stays on course. Did you guys watch where they're gonna be going? Okay. Do you know where they're gonna go, Opie? Okay, I'm gonna help them get down these stairs real quick. So Vaughn, right over here. All right, there's a step down. Right there, yep. Good. Down, good job. Step down. Good. Step down. Good. Step down. You're there. All right, pause right there. Roxana, I'm going to help you and take you by your wrist. Okay, forward, and there's a step down. Good. Step down. Step down. You got it. Good job. All right, stop there. All right, your partners, go ahead and go to them. And Roman, you are going to take Roxana. Again, you can't speak to her. You just have to take her by the arm, and you're going to guide her through when I say ready, set, go, okay? So you're going to go up the middle. Both of you go up the middle. And then where the pews get kind of wide, Roman, you're going to go this way. Nayeli, you're going to go this way. And then you're going to weave through the back few pews and then come down on the sides and meet me in the middle. Can you do that? Opie, Tennessee, can you help them stay on course? Okay. Ready? Remember, this is a race, so you kind of want to go quickly. Ready, set, go. All right, now down the side, Tennessee. Down the side. Good job. You guys can take your blindfolds off. All right. You guys, find me, the 6 of you, find me after school, and I will have a prize for you. All right? Good job. Did you guys have to have faith in your partner to help you not hit your knees? If we have time at the end, we might do another, but we got a lot of content to get through because Esther is one of my favorite stories, and guess who our agent today is? Esther. All right, so we are on our Agents of Faith series. Can we go ahead and go to our next slide? We're going to find out about our next agent. So first of all, our mission. Our mission for our agent is to save the kingdom and her people. All right, so let's move to the next slide. We have our case file, our mission brief. Okay, so our mission brief, our agent name. Did you know that Esther isn't actually her real name, the name that she was given at birth? Her name was Hadassah. That's the name that she was given at birth. And when she went on her mission, like many secret agents, she had to take a code name. And her code name was Esther. All right, so tell me her real name. Hadassah. Now, what's her secret agent name? Esther. Very good. All right, so secret agents, lots of times they have code names. Her code name is Esther. They also are given an assignment. Her assignment was to save her people, the Jews, from a plot of destruction orchestrated by Haman, who was a very powerful man and a friend of the king. All right, so secret agents, they have a mission, right? They have an assignment, something that they are chosen to do, right? And then they might run into some challenges along the way. Let's look at some of the challenges that she might encounter. So in one of these challenges that she has to keep her true identity hidden. She has to keep her true identity hidden. So that means she can't go by Hadassah. She has to go by Esther. Part of that was because Hadassah is a Jewish name, and if she went by Hadassah, everyone would have known that she was a Jew. And when she was in the king's court, being selected, they were doing their selection process. If she was known as a Jew, she probably would have immediately been kind of pushed to the side. So she had to keep that hidden. They looked kind of down upon the Jews at that time. Other challenges. Approaching the king uninvited could result in her death. So back then, if you wanted to approach the king, if you wanted to go to the king about something, you couldn't just go to him. You had to be invited by him to go to him. Even the queen. That would be like your mom and your dad. That'd be like your mom having to be invited by your dad before she could go talk to him. That'd be kind of weird, right? And if she approached the king without being invited, unless he put his scepter out to her, she could be executed. She could be killed. So it was very dangerous for her to have to go to him uninvited, because that was putting her life on the line. And then the other challenge was Haman, someone that she was going to have to challenge, somebody that she was going to have to go to the king and tell him that he was a bad man. He was a very powerful person, and he was very dangerous, as well as he had the ear of the king. The king respected him, and so that could be very scary. So those are her challenges. She had to keep her true identity hidden. She had to approach the king uninvited, and she had to take on a very powerful, very dangerous, evil man. All right, so let's go to our next slide. All right, so welcome, junior detectives. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to be a spy or a secret agent on a mission? Have you? All right, well, we are going to dive into Esther, our secret agent of faith, and we're going to take her story step by step and immerse ourselves as if we were the secret agents. All right, so let's go to our next slide. All right, so we have our detective notebook and our key discoveries. So when you're a spy, lots of times you have to have some very useful skills. These are some skills that Esther used and that she was very good at. So blending in. If you're a spy, can it be useful to blend in? Yeah, you want to blend into your surroundings. Whatever persona you put on, you want people to believe, right? So she was good at blending in. Esther kept her Jewish identity a secret as instructed by Mordecai. Who knows who Mordecai is? Kendall? What? Okay. Naomi, do you know who Mordecai is? Esther's cousin. Esther's cousin. So Esther's parents died when she was very young, and her cousin Mordecai, who was much older than her, raised her. So Mordecai, while being her cousin, was kind of like a father figure to her. So Mordecai, when Esther was taken, he told her to go by the name Esther and to keep her identity secret, so not to tell anyone that she was a Jew. So she listened to him. Was that wise that she listened to him? She knew that's like us listening to our teachers, listening to our parents, those people that God has put in authority in our lives who care about us. They want what's best for us. And do you think Mordecai loved her? Do you think Mordecai wanted what was best for her? Yes, so that piece of advice that he gave her, it was very good and very important that she listened to him. So, like a good agent, she gained favor with those around her through humility and grace. So she gained favor. She was put into a place that she did not know. It was completely different than the world she had grown up in, but she gained favor through humility and grace. So I want us to look at Esther 2, 8 through 17. If you have your Bible, you can go ahead and pull up Esther 2, 8, and we're going to read 8 through 17. When the king's order and edict had been proclaimed, many young women were brought to the citadel of Susa and put under the care of Haggai. Esther also was taken to the king's palace and entrusted to Haggai, who had charge of the harem. She pleased him and won his favor immediately. He provided her with her beauty treatments and special food. He assigned to her 7 female attendants selected from the king's palace and moved her and her attendants into the best place in the harem. Okay, so first off, she was there. I'm going to go back real quick and give you kind of a little backstory here, just so you know why she's in the king's palace. So the king became very angry with his queen. He called upon her. He wanted her to come to him at this party, and he kind of wanted to show her off to his friends. And she said, "No, I'm not going to go. You're not going to tell me when to come, and you're not going to tell me to show off for your friends. And I'm not a doll. I'm not coming." It's basically what she said. And so he got very, very angry at his wife, the queen. And he said, "Well, you know what? You are no longer the queen." And then he became very sad and lonely because he got rid of his queen, right? And so then he decided to have all the unmarried women in the kingdom be kind of rounded up and brought to the palace, and almost like today's beauty pageant, he had them all kind of come through, get all beautiful, and then he was going to select one to become his new queen. So this is how Esther comes into the palace. Esther is one of the women, against her will. She didn't want to go, but she was an unmarried woman in the kingdom, and so she was taken to the palace. So that's how she ends up here. And you notice at the very beginning, it doesn't say that she jumped at opportunities to try to win favor with the king. Who does she automatically end up gaining favor with? Do you remember the name? Mason? I can read it again. I jumped into a different story. Okay, listen to this. Esther had not revealed. And put under the care of Haggai. Esther also was taken to the king's palace and entrusted to Haggai, who had charge of the harem. So what that means is he was the man who was put in charge of all these women that were being brought to the palace. So who automatically did she gain favor with? Tennessee? Haggai. Now, do you think she gained favor with him by prancing around like she was the best? Probably not. Because that isn't very appealing, is it? If you walk around like you're the best and you know it all, it's not very appealing. You know what is appealing? Right here, it says, she gained favor through humility and grace. Right? So she immediately caught Haggai's eye, who was in charge of all these women. And it said that he gave her all these women to take care of her, gave her beauty treatments, everything she could need. Esther had not revealed her nationality and family background because Mordecai had forbidden her to do so. Again, she's listening to her cousin who raised her. Every day, he walked back and forth near the courtyard of the harem to find out how Esther was and what was happening to her. So Mordecai is very concerned for Esther, and he keeps coming near the palace. Before a young woman's turn came to go into to King Xerxes, she had to complete 12 months of beauty treatments prescribed for the woman, 6 months with oil of myrrh and 6 of perfumes and cosmetics. And this is how she would go to the king. Okay, so was this a short process? Okay, so today, again, we talk about, I refer back to like beauty pageants. Okay, those usually take about a day, right? Yeah, you might be prepping for it by going and getting a dress or something or getting your hair done. But that takes about a day. How long did it say it took before she could even go before the king? 12 months, which is how long? A whole year. So she had to be away from her family. She couldn't go home. When she was in the palace, she was stuck in the palace. She could not go home to Mordecai. And so she had to be in the palace around people she did not know, around people who probably didn't like her very much. Right? Do you think the women who saw that she got favor with Haggai treated her very nicely after that? After she's being given like extra women to take care of her and extra beauty treatments, do you think the other women liked that very much? So she's probably not being treated very kindly by the other women. Right? And she's surrounded by people she doesn't know. Can you imagine the homesickness she probably felt? In the evening, she would go, and this is how she would go to the king. Anything she wanted was given to her to take with her from the harem to the king's palace. In the evening, she would go there, and in the morning return to another part of the harem to care for, The king's eunuch, who was in charge of the concubines, she would not return to the king unless he was pleased with her and summoned her by name. When the turn came for Esther, the young woman Mordecai had adopted, the daughter of his uncle Abihail, to go to the king. She asked for nothing other than what Haggai, the king's eunuch, who was in charge of the harem, suggested. So basically, this is what this is saying is rather than going, she was able to take one thing when the king finally summoned her. What it's saying is that instead of going, ooh, I think I'm going to take this really sparkly headpiece because it's going to make me look really beautiful and the king's going to love it. Or, oh, I'm going to take this beautiful sparkly belt because it really makes my waist look small and the king's going to like that. She doesn't do that. What she did was she was very wise, and she said, what it says is she went to, drawing a blank on his name. I just said it so many times. Haggai. She went to Haggai, who again is in charge of all these women, and she, instead of going, I want this, she went to him and said, what do you think I should take with me to visit the king? Again, she's humble. She's showing humility. She's showing, I don't know everything. What do you think I should take with me? Do you think that might be kind of smart? Does Esther know the king at all? No, but does Haggai? Yes. So what she did was very humble, but also very wise. And Esther... And Esther won the favor of everyone who saw her. She was taken to King Xerxes in the royal residence in the 10th month, the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. Now the king was actually, I thought it was going to go on and tell you what she took. She took his advice, and what she took was an instrument very similar to a harp. And that was something that the king really liked, was being lulled by a harp. And Haggai knew that. All right, let's go to our next. So actually, our application here. God equips us with the skills and circumstances we need for his mission. Was she equipped with what she needed? Yes. She grew up and by Mordecai, who gave her great wisdom, and all she had to do was listen to him. He taught her to be humble. Will you go back a slide? He taught her to be humble and have grace, which gained her favor with Haggai. And then once she had favor with Haggai, she continued to be humble, and then she asked Haggai what he suggested she take, and she took it, and guess what? She gained favor with King Xerxes. All right, our next slide. All right, so our next key spy skill is boldness under pressure. So not only was she humble and she had grace, but she had boldness under pressure. So this is Esther 4:13 through 16. I'm going to read that to you real quick. He sent back this answer, do not think that because... Okay, so a little backstory before we do this. So she's there, and she gains his favor. Over all the women in the kingdom that were brought to him, she gained the king's favor, and she becomes queen. Well, during this time, as she is queen, another man, Haman, remember we talked about this evil, dangerous man? Haman comes into the picture as well, and he gains the ear of the king, and he becomes almost like the king's second in command. And so he really trusts Haman, and he's listening to Haman, right? And Haman does not like Mordecai. Who's Mordecai again? Esther's cousin who raised her. He does not like Mordecai because Mordecai refuses to bow to him. Because Mordecai says, I will not bow before anybody other than the one true God. And so Mordecai refuses to bow to Haman, and Haman hates him for it. And so Haman decides he's going to come up with a plot to not only kill Mordecai, but have all the Jewish people killed too. And the Jewish people are like the family tree of Mordecai. So Mordecai belongs to the Jewish people. Well, he's going to make sure that Haman wants to make sure all the Jewish people are killed. So he concocts this plan, and he goes to the king, and he doesn't tell the king, I want all the Jews killed. No, he is very sneaky. He goes to the king and he says, did you know there are these people in your land and they don't listen to you? They won't bow. They are there's going to be revolt. They laugh at you. You need to do something about it, or they are going to take over your kingdom. They're going to take the throne from you, right? So he doesn't say, I don't like the Jews. King, will you please kill them? He doesn't do that. He goes in and is very sneaky, and he says, there are these people in your kingdom. There are so many of them. And they don't follow your ways and your customs. And they don't bow. They refuse to bow. And something needs to be done about them. And the king's like, oh my goodness, you're right. Something does need to be done about these people. If there's so many and they can take my crown, we need to do something about this. And so Haman comes up with this plot and gets the king to sign a decree, a law that says on the specific day, and the way he worded it was very smart too. He says on the specific day that anyone can attack and kill the Jewish people, basically. And if they kill the Jewish person, then they can have all their belongings. So does that make it seem like maybe that people who normally wouldn't be mean or bad, is that some incentive to hurt some Jewish people to get their belongings? Maybe somebody wouldn't think of murder, but you know what, they're kind of greedy. And now there's this edict in this law that says, on this day, I'm given permission to kill. So this edict is put out, basically giving people permission to kill the Jewish people. And so what happens is Mordecai goes to Esther and pleads with her to go to the king and beg for the Jewish people's lives. So he says, do you not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape? He's saying, do you think that you will escape this? You're a Jew too. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? So basically what Mordecai is saying here is he's saying, you, Esther, need to have faith in God. You, Esther, need to go to the king uninvited and plead for the Jewish people's lives. You are a Jew as well. You will not escape this. And who knows, maybe God put you in that place. Maybe God raised you up to be queen so that you could save the Jewish people at this time. That's what he means when he says that you have been put in this place for such a time as this. Maybe God made you queen so that you could save the Jewish people. All right, so she had boldness under pressure. Mordecai informed Esther of the threat to their people. Esther had to decide to stay silent or risk her life to save others. So you know what she did? She listened to Mordecai. But before she did that, she was very smart. She went to God. She fasted and prayed, but she didn't just fast and pray. You know what she did? She told Mordecai, have all the Jewish people fast and pray with me too. So not only was she fasting and praying, but the entire Jewish community was fasting and praying as well. So she fasted and prayed, calling her team, her people, to do the same thing. So when God calls us, we need courage and faith to step up. So we need to have courage and faith. The next slide. All right, so our next key skill is strategy and timing. Do you think it would have worked very well for her if, as soon as she heard, she just marched on in there without praying, and she just said, King, get rid of that decree. Also, another key fact here, once the king made a law and sealed it with his ring, there was no undoing it. He couldn't say, oh, never mind. So she didn't just march in there to him right off the bat and say, King, how dare you? I am a Jew, and you have made this proclamation trying to kill all the Jews. She didn't do that. She trusted God. She prayed. She had her people pray. She fasted. And then she used this skill of strategy and timing. So you know what she did? When she gained enough courage, she humbly and gracefully, again, she went to the king and she bowed down to him, praying that he would extend his scepter to her. And you know what? He did extend his scepter to her. And he said, my queen, what do you want? What could you want that you would risk your life to come to me? And so he had favor with her. And you know what she said? She didn't just jump up and say, Haman's evil, you need to get rid of him. No, she said, my king, I'm preparing a dinner banquet, and I would like for you and Haman to come. And he was so pleased, and he said, oh, absolutely, I will come. And so she goes and she prepares this dinner banquet, and the king comes, and he has a great time. And the Bible doesn't necessarily say what all happened, but can you imagine how she had to be feeling, how her heart had to be going so fast? That'd be scary to try. I mean, Haman's in the room trying to figure out how to tell the king that Haman is evil and has tricked him into killing all her people. And so she didn't tell him first off. At the end, he said, what can I give you? I'll give you anything. And she said, I would like for you to come to another dinner banquet that I'm going to prepare tomorrow. And so he came again. Okay? She was very careful with her timing. She wasn't just going to come out with it. Okay? I'm sure she knew the king very well by that point. She probably knew what kind of moods he was in, when she was going to get the most favor. So she probably was kind of scanning her surroundings and deciding if now was a good time or not. And for whatever reason, she decided that first time, whether it was having a little bit of fear or whether it was knowing that, oh, now's not a good time, she decided not to present the question to him yet, but to wait. So again, the king comes for another banquet, and he is very pleased. And so she finally presents it to him, and he says, what can I give you? And she says, please spare my life and the lives of my people. And he becomes very angry, and not with her. He goes, who is threatening my queen's life? Do you think that would upset somebody to find out that their spouse's life is like in danger, that somebody is threatening not just anyone's life, but the queen's life. And so he becomes angry and goes, who is threatening my queen's life? And she goes, Haman. Haman tricked you into writing a decree that is going to have all the Jewish people, including myself. So here she tells him who she truly is. She says, I'm a Jew, and all my Jewish people are going to be killed because of this decree. And the king is very angry with Haman, and he realizes that he has been tricked. He goes, you did not tell me it was the Jewish people. I have no quarrel with the Jewish people. I don't have anything against the Jewish people. And so he becomes very angry with the Jewish people. So she was very wise and waited for the proper timing to approach the king. It says Esther carefully approached the king, gaining his favor. Everything she did was to gain his favor. She exposed Haman's evil plot at the right moment, turning the king's wrath against him. If she had exposed his plot at the wrong moment, do you think maybe his wrath could be turned against her? So she had to be very careful and wise, listening to God and God's timing. So trust God's timing and use wisdom when taking action. All right, our last key skill. All right, so another thing is changing the narrative. So you might think the story just ended there because now the king knows about this plot. But the thing is once the edict was put into decree and he sealed it with his ring, it can't be undone. The king can't say, well, I don't like that law anymore, so never mind, scratch that, throw it in the trash. Once it's done, it's done. So her next key skill as a spy is changing the narrative. Esther and Mordecai, her cousin, worked together to write new decrees, ensuring the safety of the Jews. Esther's mission was a success. Actually, I'm going to pause there. Ensuring the safety of the Jews. So what they did was they couldn't erase the edict that had been put in place. But you know what they did? They put out a new edict with the king's seal that said that the Jews were allowed to band together, prepare, and fight anyone who dared to attack them on that day. So they were basically given permission to prepare themselves and fight back, which kind of, in all, made that other decree null and void. They had to be really careful with their wording, the way they worded it, but they found a loophole to get around Haman's decree. So Esther's mission was a success because she trusted and had faith in God and stayed true to her purpose. The application here is when we walk in obedience, God's plans are always victorious. So when we walk in obedience, we could also exchange that word obedience with faith, because if we have faith, we will have obedience. If we walk in faith, God's plans are always victorious. All right, next slide. So becoming God's secret agent. Like Queen Esther, we are chosen by God for a specific purpose. We can choose to accept it or ignore it. I hope we choose to accept it. Sometimes those missions require us to be brave, wise, and patient. We can accept it, but we still need to look to God for His timing, for what He would do. We need to be humble, gracious. And then Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Esther couldn't have done that on her own. Esther had to rely on God. All right, our next slide. Our main scripture of the day, Esther 4:14. You've already heard this once today. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. You guys can apply that into your life. Who knows, maybe you've come to this school for such a time as this. Maybe you met that friend for such a time as this. Maybe you had to move and be put in a new location for such a time as this. Maybe you are going to a new church for such a time as this. You can apply it to any part of your life. Instead of being mopey about something changing, think how God might be using it to further his plan and purpose for your life. Maybe it's not such a bad thing. Maybe you've been put there for such a time as this, just like Esther was. Do I have another slide? Okay. No? Okay. I did have one other thing I wanted to do, though. Let me find it. All right, here's my challenge to you. I want you I had a challenge. Okay, I want you, when you get down to your classrooms, to write down one way you can be bold for God in your own life. Write down one way that you can be bold for God in your own life. All right, when you get down to your classroom, that's your assignment. All right, so let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, I thank you for the opportunity to come together for chapel today, all these students together. I pray that you laid on their hearts and open their eyes and their minds to exactly what you can do in their lives. I pray that when they encounter situations that you put in their life, that they accept the mission, that they accept the challenge, and that they see when you are asking them to step up, be bold, be gracious, be humble, and follow your words. In Jesus' name, amen.